It's just different.
And welcome back to B.A.R Fitness Radio or TV, depending on where you're listening or watching. Podcast that I started to document my fitness journey, and that fitness journey includes the awesome program of E2M. So in E2M, I found a lot of amazing folks with a lot of amazing stories, and so I dedicate Tuesdays and Thursdays to those folks to interview people in the program. And today I have on a E2M celebrity for sure.
No. No.
We have on my good friend Linette. How you doing? Look, Nasim is already shouting you out right now. So yeah.
I was gonna say, we just say that we know Jessica Hahn and we're celebrities by association.
That works. That works. So how are you today?
I'm good. Day off of work. So vacay day.
Nice. I love it. So just jump right in. Just tell us about your fitness journey. I always say prior to E2M. Give us the backstory before you found E2M.
Yeah. So I've described this to a few people lately. So it's growing up, I was the family that we ate, homemade pizzas, cereal, Little Debbie's after every meal with the Dr. Pepper. So we did not grow up health conscious. We might have a vegetable once a day, and that's if macaroni and cheese wasn't on the dinner table. So it wasn't something, familiar to us. And if we went to a friend's house that did not have sodas, we thought they were weird. Like, I'm not drinking water or milk. What's wrong with you people? So the whole health knowledge part was very much lacking as an adult, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got married, happy, little fluffy. Kept getting a little fluffy cooking at the house. And so I said, I'm going to do Weight Watchers. And I lost some weight doing Weight Watchers. And then, of course, came right back. And then with the beginning of the pandemic, I was eating sleeves of Oreos at a time. And then we were drinking every evening, sitting outside with our puppy and our chickens and just enjoying the evenings with them.
Yeah.
So I said, I've got to do something or we'll be as big as the house because I'm literally eating a line of Oreos every time I go in the package. And that was me limiting myself with, one of the three. So I started doing yoga. So in March of 2020, I started doing yoga and I was like, I can get it into shape here. And it was good. It was, I lost like 5 pounds. And so I was like, well, this just isn't cutting it. And I'm like complaining to my husband, Taylor, Alvis, and I was like, this is not, he told me I had to shout him out. So this is not working. Like, I should be able to have a flat belly. Like, I'm, I haven't had any kids. Like, what's going on? And I'm just reasoning through all this. And so I see Jess Hahn's pictures and we're, same age, same occupation, same shape, like we're very similar in a lot of ways. So I was like, if she can do this, I think I can do this. But I asked her like 1,001 questions. Bless her heart. Because I texted. She answered every single one of them, of course. And I was like, okay. And so it's the night before signups, and I'm talking to Taylor, and I'm like, this has got to be a scam, right? Like, I don't know this Jeff guy. Like, what the heck? I'm sure this fitness plan works. It's only on Facebook and all this. You don't have to pay. This sounds like a scam, right? And so I'm in my mind, I'm like, we're just not going to do it. And so I say to him, just to like close the loop of us talking, like, so we're signing up for this or not, or what? He's like, just do it. It's just $320. Like, who cares? And we both get to do it. And I was like, okay, so I was this close. We signed up that night. And we ended up, the way it worked out, we ended up starting on vacation. So I was texting Jess, like, how do I do this? Like, go to the grocery store and do what? Like, what do I get at the grocery store that can go in the car on the way home and stuff like that? So she helped me. And then that was July 2020, and that's all she wrote.
Wow.
Fiction with it 2 years later. Yeah.
That is awesome. Awesome to hear. It's funny when you talk about the Oreos, I was like, yep. I was joking with my cousin last night. Like, you can't just get, one, your finger, it
No,
won't fit in between. You got to open
right.
it up.
You got to go this way. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Well, and it's
yeah.
funny now because those don't taste good to me anymore. And if I
Oh,
pay
wow.
attention, my stomach starts cramping when I eat one of them.
Wow.
So
Yeah. I don't
think,
have that issue.
well, no, I eat other crap. Don't get me wrong. I still
I
have
got
treat
you.
meal and eat the good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oreos is not something I want anymore.
Yeah, treat meal is still, yeah, I'm wide gripping on my
Oh
treat meal
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. I still
But
like
no,
my
that's really cool. So you talked about, we know who your influence was. I always ask people, like, who was the person, Jessica Hahn. So talk about that first week. I mean, you said you was coming on vacation.
Yep.
How was the initial just shock I guess factor when it comes to coming into the program? How did you handle that?
Yep. So, like I said, we were on vacation. It was our 7th wedding anniversary. Not 7th, 4th, 12th. Anyway, and so we had gone out of town, went yeah, I know. I think I'm thinking of the month. Went skydiving, and then the next day we started E2M. So my pictures are my before pictures are in like that sweaty hotel room looking awfulness, like no light and all that. And I'm like, of course, that picture is plastered everywhere.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is. And
sure.
we did we stuck with it. Like we did what Jess said for the drive home. So we went to like Lowe's Foods or whatever they had where we were and got I think we got some deli meat because that was the best option, and some veggies like that were chopped up in the grocery section, and that's what we ate on the way home. And then we stuck with it. I was take a sprinkle of coffee in my cream girl. So that one was really tough for me. And I was a daily coffee drinker. My husband's not. He's a soda drinker. So he went hardcore off caffeine and sugar. So that was tough for him. But I argued with Mandy, she did the lives every day like she does now. And so I was like, what about the coffee? Like, what about almond milk? What about coconut milk? So for 3 days on the daily lives, I was like, what about this? And so finally I was like, I'm just going to do it. So I weaned myself a little bit on that the first day, trying to rationalize.
Yeah,
sure. I gotta do it. And now I'm a black coffee drinker and I like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the third day for me was rough. And I remember walking into work and I was crossing the street and I was like, I'm gonna pass out. It's hot, it's July. And I was like, I'm just gonna pass out. I just had no energy. And so of course I got through my work day. I ate the food that I brought and I went home and I took a nap, at 6 p.m. And that was by far the worst day. I just felt like trash that day. So I took a nap and then went to bed early. So I just added more sleep. And then Saturday, for whatever reason, so day 6, I had a little bout of being tired. So I took a nap that day and then I was fine. Once I got used to everything, I had energy.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I was tired until I wasn't. And I was like, oh, this is what it's like to feel really good. So yeah, I did. I thought I felt really, that was the other thing is looking back at that picture, I am a very optimistic person. I'm a very happy-go-lucky person. You're not going to hear me talking crap if I do it for a second and I'm having a moment and I'm done. I don't spout negative stuff. And so I was like, I'm happy. I'm fine. I'm good. And looking back at that picture, I'm like, that girl is so sad. I didn't realize how sad she was and how uncomfortable she was.
Right.
And just, there's something about being satisfied and happy in your skin, no matter what point you're at. And Jess and she talk me off the ledge all the time, and so does my husband. But even 2 years OG, I had a whole moment right before the Virginia Beach meetup, and I was like, I've gotten fat, I don't look good, feel fluffy and all this stuff, and maybe I'm not my goal forever, but what is that? We're in progress all the time. And Holly Edwards posted something like that the other day, because I'm not if you get on the scale, I'm not my skinniest, right? My goal weight I hit in November when we started in July. So 4-ish months, somewhere in there. And I was lean and mean and not a lot of muscle, but I was super thin. And so looking at a picture of me now, I look very different. And so the scale reflects that. And that's over a year and a half. So when she posted that the other day, I was like, that really hit home for me too, because who I am now is not the same, and it's not the same as that the starting point. It's not the same as my skinniest point.
Yep.
But I'm happier now, and I think I actually look better now. So I think there's big psychology to it all, right?
Yeah. That I love that. I love how just the progression from because I was the same way. I look back at those pictures, and my wife joke is like, man, you look like somebody's uncle, but you couldn't tell me nothing. Like I was just as handsome and good looking as I am now. I had the confidence. I felt happy. I was joke. I'm kind of big but light on my feet, and it's a mentality that everybody's not kind of down in the dumps when it comes to like your transformation. But then when you actually see what you actually can do with your body, you're like, oh snap, like
okay.
right it's another level, it's another level. And then I love when you talked about how you hit your goal at the time, and then now you have a new goal. It's more of a look for you now, and that's something, and that's something I always try to tell a lot of people in the program. Don't chase a number. Sometimes that number
I did, but not anymore.
Right. Sometimes that number ain't what you think it is. And it's funny on the men's side, they think you got to be 200, 215 to look good. I'm like, bro, you keep cutting and you look even better. It's weird how people get caught up in numbers. And I appreciate you just talking about, hitting that, and then, where you are now, and even being a 2-year OG, being in a place where you're like, I don't know if I feel good about myself right at the moment, so all of that is part of fitness, man. It's not, I wish God created a sustain button, like we get somewhere we like and you just stay there, but that's not the case, so that was really, really good, and I know a lot of people gonna benefit from that. All right, so you came in with a friend, Jessica Hahn. Talk about the rest of the community. How did that affect your process, your whole experience when it comes to E2M?
So a lot. So I'll say when I say Jess and I were friends, we were more of colleagues when I started. So she and I were both transplant nurses, and so we got together through a transplant community, and we're on a transplant committee together, basically, that met like once a month. So like I knew her professionally. Mm-hmm. And so that was really about it. And then we hung out. I don't remember what the first time was I had this realization, but we hung out for something. And I think it was after E2M. And I was like, oh, this girl is fun. Because not that she's not fun professionally, but she's very professional when she's at work. And she conducts herself like that. And so I was like, we can have a good time. Like Justin and I can have a good time. And so, I mean, we have become the best of friends. Like, I don't know how I did life without her, to be honest. And so to me, like, that's huge. One person, and her and Matthew are awesome. And so, I mean, we just celebrated my husband's birthday, and we've been at the lake all weekend together. And I'm like, why did we end this? But they're amazing. Their kids are amazing. And so just that one person, like, that was just almost an acquaintance, like colleagues, yes, and chatting a little bit about extra like personal stuff when we were doing a work meeting. That's about it, to like best friend. So that's amazing. And then of course it's gone out from that. We have a couples group that we started out with. Once we became OGs, we said, you know what, we want to do a little extra, because we've done this first round or this first 2 or 3 rounds, and we want to do some EC. We were all about some EC. So the Polinos and the Delgados and the Romeos and the Patels, like there's a whole group of us, the Hutchisons, like that we're like, okay, we're doing this today, and this is the challenge for today. And so like when we were fresh kind of OGs, we would do extra challenges and stuff to put on a little extra muscle or what have you, because most of us had hit our goal weight at that point. So there's a group there. And then just from the meetups. So like when I joined, the celebrities were, and still are, Josh Wells and Kate Robinson. So when I logged on, that's what E2M was. Yeah. Like he had won the round right before I started, I believe. And so like they will always be my E2M people. So I'm also freaking out a little bit. She said she's in the United States. I'm like, where are you? I've got a car. Like, let's go meet. But like that's the awesome part about the meetups. So like I was a little bit like, again, like this is a little gimmicky. Like, who cares to get together and work out? Like, who does that? This is so dumb. And so we did one, and like just to go hang out with Jess and everybody. And oh my goodness, the meetups. Like the last one I did was the Virginia meetup. And like I said, I went to that meetup kind of like not feeling it, right? I was not for myself.
Yeah.
And so I put my tanner on, I put my leggings on, and I went to the meetup because tanner automatically loses 5 pounds for me. So I did that. And went to the meetup, and when I tell you I walked out of there a different person, like I did not go for that reason, but I came out like feeling so much better about myself. Like, wow, social media is crap sometimes, right? And so even, I mean, I post my flex pictures too, and I do not look like that when I walk around, right? That's I don't look like my pump pictures. I don't look like all that, and no one does. So to see people in real life and see how awesome we all still look in real life, but not necessarily our pump, and just to get encouragement and be with the family, and they truly are a family. I mean, I could start naming people, but people are probably going to chop me into tiny little pieces if I start naming people. I'll miss somebody. You'll be fine. The Rosenthal's are the other couple that I didn't name. And maybe I forgot other people, but anyway. So seeing those people, I mean, like, oh, the other thing is that I met somebody that lives 5 minutes away from me at a meetup 4 hours away.
Wow.
Yeah, or in Charlotte, maybe 2 hours away. So Jess was talking to Felicia and Calvin Tisdale and was like, oh, where are you from? What do you do? You know, and they're like, oh, we're from Danville, Virginia. And she's like, what? Nobody's from Danville, Virginia. And so she lives 5 minutes from me. So we haven't hit the gym together yet. We keep trying and we're missing it. But like, I have a friend right here in town. So that's because I live in a tiny place. Also, Eddie Richardson's from here, so it's not so tiny. But you know, it. I didn't think anybody lived here because you know, when it started, it was South Carolina heavy and all that. So yeah, there's friends all over the place. And going to a meetup, you're looking for those friendly faces, and half the time you think you've already met some of these people because you see them on the group all the time. But it is definitely a community. And so at that Virginia meetup at Virginia Beach, it was like 90-something degrees. I mean, it was hot. It was hot. And we waited till like 9 o'clock, and we were in the sun, and I was doing jumping jacks and had cold chills. Like looking out all over with all those people, you just have like a whole moment. Looking at the stupid Jersey video that I wasn't even there for, I'm like, watching it. Like, it just makes me so happy, and it's such a community, and it sounds like very cheesy if you don't experience it, I guess. But it is a community. And so, you know, Jeff has created something really amazing with a positive environment and people that are committed to just doing the exercise and not talking about all the other crap that's going on in the world, and just focusing on what brings us together instead of what separates us. And so, I mean, that's really what we talk about when we're there, and we find those commonalities instead of finding things to get upset and argue about. Exactly. And it's a vibe. I mean, not to be, you know, cliche, but it is a vibe. And like, I was in this group when there were less than like 4,000 people in it, you know, like we were not even doing lives for workouts when I started. I was like a every now and then type thing. Yeah. And so, you know, it's awesome to see like even the trainers, like the progression that they've made personally, professionally. And like, I've become really good friends with Mandy. Like, these are friendships that I've never had without E2M. And like, their kids are like my nieces and nephews. Like, I you know, like it's a giant family, and the majority of my friends now are in E2M. Either I found them through E2M or I brought them into E2M. Yeah. So it is a huge part of my world now.
Yep. That's spot on. I'm having to unfriend some people to make room for E2M people.
Hadn't talked to you in 15 years. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Like, I hadn't, you hadn't posted in a while. You might have to go, you know. So, but no, that's super amazing. And I definitely you know, agree with everything you said. Just the New Jersey meetup was bananas to see all those people, you know. It's almost like a sea of people, man, and it's amazing. So super excited to be a part of this, man. And I know for you coming from, you know, under 4,000 and seeing where it is now, it's amazing for sure. All right, so last question before we get out of here. Someone that may be watching or listening, thinking about joining the program, what would be your words of encouragement, or what would you say to them to get them across the finish line?
Yeah. So I think, and Jeff said this to me at the Virginia meetup, I think one of the biggest differences is, yes, I've lost weight. Yes, I'm healthier. Yes, I'm happier with my body. But he said, Linette, go back and look at your first selfie that you posted and look at one today. And he said, that's confidence. I've never had confidence. I've never felt good about my body or myself, or even been comfortable with what my choices were. I was never comfortable with what I liked or what my opinion was. I was very much a people pleaser, not necessarily by intention, but it just was. Sure. And so to be happy with myself and to be confident with myself in my body, in my mind, in my spirit, whatever you want to describe it, I think that is something that, like, I can see a difference in 2 months ago in my pictures, just from confidence. My body hasn't changed much in 2 months. So like, I can tell a difference in the way I carry myself and the way I stand in a picture, or, you know, and I think that is huge. And that's not something you can hardly write down or explain. Exactly. Fitness programs are always talking about losing the weight and being healthy and living longer and being fit and all that. And that is very valuable and important. And I'm very thankful to have that. But the stress that dissipates and the, you know, just being able to relax and be who you are. I don't know if everybody has that same experience, but for me, it's been ridiculously amazing. And just, you know, also, I mean, listening to Reese helps too. Sure. If people don't like what you have to say, then they're not your people. You know, so if you are excited about something and you're talking about it and they're like, please stop, and they're probably just not your people. So even come to the realization, like a lot of these fitness things that we're learning about through E2M and through Reese, and, you know, any input you're taking in for self-growth, you know, it's okay to let people go. It's okay to let things go. Like those things kind of, you know, go into the rest of your life. It's not just the fitness part of you and the exercise part of you and all those things. That kind of goes into all the other areas of life. And so, I don't know, I think that the confidence is probably one of the best things. And discipline, once you get discipline in fitness, I think it invades every other area of your life. You can't help it because you are disciplined with a diet and with something physical like exercise. And those are two very difficult things to do. And if you can conquer that, like you can do anything. And it just rolls over into the other areas of your life. So I don't know. I'm a very like order and organization and structure, and it just flows over into everything else. So, and then watching like that happened to my husband too. So, you know, it's almost like you get a personality change as well. Things, I don't know, things just get better. There you go. E2M makes it better.
There you go. That's the sales pitch right there. E2M makes it better. Put that on a t-shirt for sure.
There you go.
So thank you so much for coming on the show. This was super cool. You got the live comment section blowing up. Everybody's showing love.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, they everybody's in there. So I love to end the show the same way. Make sure you guys remember 1 Timothy 4:8. Paul said it's good to take care of this physical body, but we also have to take care of our spiritual. So until next time, you guys, God bless, and we are out.